Photoshop. Okay, I'm recording. Okay, so I got my cars. I have a lot of the ortho views. I got a rear shot that's kind of turned. Isn't very friendly to have a turned shot like this. But I can always rotate it back, so now I have a back shot. But I think I had a back shot originally. I just don't have a top-down shot now. Okay, now that can destroy me if I don't have it. It's going to create much slower movement when I'm constructing, and that's kind of what I don't want, because all that stuff adds time, and the more that it keeps adding up the time, the more I battle time, the more I realize I'm going to be up more longer doing this crap. Okay? Now, we're going to create orthographic planar views of this blueprint model so that we can basically go in, and did I create it on the desktop? So we can use it as a template guide to what we want. Okay? So here's working, reference. Okay. And in order to do that, we need to have the blueprints. That's this thing right here. Okay. Now I got all sorts of weird lines coming in and out, and they're going to confuse me or not. Okay, that's completely up to you. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new canvas inside Photoshop. I'm going to create a pixels are really small, so I'm going to go 512 by 512. Resolution at 200, and I'm just going to basically clip out one view at a time. Okay, so I'm going to marquee select this right here. I'm going to copy, go back to my Untitled one, paste it here. Okay, and you can see that it's way larger than 512 by 512. Okay, so I'm just going to cram it into the space, hit enter, and I get that. Okay, very pixelated, so that might be a problem. So let me say new canvas 1024 by 512, resolution of 200, paste it here, and when I cram that into this space, it's going to hold a little bit nicer. Okay, so that's nice. I'll keep that. Okay, I'll do a save as, reference. Inside reference, I'll create another one, or outside of reference, I'll create a folder called IP for image planes. Okay. And then this will be side view. I'll use the target. Okay. Get rid of that. Create a new canvas by 512 by 512 now. Go back to the front. Grab just the front. Okay. Paste it there. Drag it into the view. There's my front view. Make sure my layers are collapsed. Do a save as, the target file. I'm going to say front viewer. Target, done, new canvas, you guys get it. Okay, so I got a back view now, so I don't need the actual image to support what I'm going to do for the back. I just wish I had a top view. But I'm not going to build this car, I'm going to build another car. So then I got this thing, it's going to be back viewer. Okay, target, save, done. Okay, there we go. Alright, now back inside Maya. Okay, create polygonal plane, done. Okay, outliner, rotate that plane 90. Okay, outliner, hypershader Lambert, file, attribute editor, file, desktop, working, image plane, side view. Okay, before side view, reference. Let's see. This is a problem that we all are faced with, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, let's use that. You see that icon when it sits like this and I put an image in and it's not showing me? It's because it's really big. This is a 3K pixel image. Okay? I can fix that. It's a stupid workaround. I have to click here and click back. Oh look, and it's there. See, look. Drag this into default. Okay, drag this into here. Okay, let me talk about proportion real fast. Does that photograph look okay to you? Does that image look okay? Exactly. Good. I'm glad. Because it's not supposed to. Okay. Now, a lot of things come in when you use a plane or one polygon face to put images on there for template use. A lot of it comes in really distorted like this. It is up to you, the user, the creator, is to make this feel right. Okay? And sometimes, if you can't use the support of what your eyeball can support, maybe some of the objects in Maya can help. What am I talking about? Cylinder. Channel box. Rotate. I know that inside Maya, this cylinder is trying to be as perfect as possible. Okay? And I'm going to insert some edge loops to hold that perfection of it. And I'm not going to keep it, I'm just using it for support. What is support? This. When I hit 3, why does it keep doing that? Okay. And get rid of these center faces. Okay. Okay, if I hit 3, I get a perfect circle. I'm going to turn on X-ray mode so I can see a little bit transparent straight through it. Hit F so I can frame it. I have inside here, which Maya creates, is a perfect circle. Okay? This dial, this roundel, the BMW logo, is a perfect circle. But in this image, it is not. Okay? So, do I stand there and say, well, let me go to the UV editor. Rid of my grid. Do I say in the front view my UVs are tweaked, so if I rotate my UVs, maybe that'll fix my image more, right? I'm in the front view, and you know it's not really straight. Look what I can do. I can say create curves, and just draw a curve as a tool guideline, or I can use grid, right? You can use all sorts of aspects of Maya to do anything for you. Okay, and now I pick the UVs again, come in here, and now this line needs to be nice, perfectly straight. So I can rotate that, but the rotation tool is really wonky, but if I bring it out here, it's not that wonky anymore. I have more control of it. Okay. And then that's really not a good guide, so maybe I could use, what else could I use? Like maybe that line. Look, now it's perfectly straight. Okay, so I got a straightness out of it. Okay, so I can use that. So I know that's straight now, but the roundel is very still not perfect. Okay, now this is where this comes into play. Okay, put the circle in the middle of the roundel, like that. Turn on wireframe so you can see everything. If I scale this down, that's what the perfect circle should be. So the job is to take the image, the vertex, and pull it out to where it feels normal. Okay? See that? So we're getting closer. So I can use the actual wireframes to help support the image to be a lot better. Okay? So that feels a lot nicer. Does that make sense to everybody? Like, yeah, it's skewed and distorted. I get all that. But in a sense of like what feels natural, this feels natural. And it feels like the car. Now that feels better. That's what I want to construct. Not in this skewing distortion, but in a sense of like, is the image correct? Right? You're never going to use this to create that. So I just wanted to show you based on a pixel on how it needs to be. So what I would do is create Polygon Plane. Rotate. Okay. Now, hypershader. Replace this with what? Side view. Side view. There. Replace it with what? UV editor. Here. Take my UVs. Flip them the other way, because that's where I want it. Okay. Go into a side view. Go into a front view. Flip it again. I want it there. Now, is that proportioned correctly to you? Of course not. Does that feel more natural? Are we guessing? Cylinder. What can I attach this to? Ooh, the tire. There's a perfect circle, which a tire should be. And it's not. Now, take this file, click that direction, distort it to where it feels natural. Just a little bit more. All I need to do is lock one good angle in. It could be the side, it could be the front, any of it. Once I get one that I can buy off on and I like it, everything tags itself to that one view. Okay? But you got to get the one right. There we go. Look, perfect circle. Now, this feels right. And I'm comfortable with this. Okay? It's the CS concept, so it's really long. It's just really long. Okay? Okay. So now I can sit there and say, well, the UVs are, I'm wasting UV spacing down here. So what? Okay? You can cut base tool if you want. Get rid of it. So I just got that. There we go. Okay? So now, my next move, duplicate. Rotate that to the front view. Why go in and create another polygon face when I got one I'm working with here? Right? Why be redundant? Look at this. Duplicate. Shading network. Okay? Here's my new network. All I gotta do is replace the image because everything else is already set up. Front view. There you go. Now this guy gets that guy. Front view. Okay? Now this is a trick right here. Now how do I line these two things up? Well, oh man. That's not right. Oh man, look at the UVs, they're all jacked up. So I'm looking at the car. Okay. The way to see this is I got to put it right here. So I can line up the top and the bottom and work out the side at some point. And how do I work out the top? I'm going to be in the front view, slightly rotate this so I can see the image a little bit. Okay? I can see it. Now I know what it's distorted and how to work with it. And what am I talking about? Come over here in the UV editor and pull the UVs up. Where's the top of my car? There's the top of my car. Look at the peak right there at the top of the car. And here's the peak right here at the top of this car. Right there. So I want to line this top and that top together. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be right on as much as you can. Boom. That looks good. Let's work out the bottom. What's the bottom? It's the tire. That's the bottom. Okay? We're going a little longer. Drag the tire down to where it matches that. Can't get it to match? Move it over. I know the top's matching, so all I gotta still worry about is just the bottom. Okay? There you go. I'm close enough. So I got the top and the bottom lined up real good. I got my channel box that is still located here, so I hit 0, I can go back to normal. If I hit 90, I still get exactly what I want. And movement, everything from the top height is lined up perfect. Now all I got to figure out is in the side view, I'm not going to distort anything else in a sense of the vertical formation. I'm just going to work out the side, okay, and what it feels like. And sometimes, in this case, this becomes very problematic also. So creating cylinder, getting rid of the faces. There's a good thing is that there's tons of round objects around the car, like the headlights. Tag a circle to the headlights. And that feels right. So I'm going to leave it. Okay. So I got the front view. I'm going to slam right here to the front. I'm going to duplicate that. There's the back view is going to be, okay? Now the back view, I don't need this, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of hide that by creating another layer. Create an empty layer, create an empty layer, layer. Layer 3 is going to be side view, cider. The reason why I give these strange names is because when you name something that already exists, if I say perspective, it's not going to let me do perspective. It'll say perspective _ 1. Because there's a thing called perspective camera that already exists. So I can't use perspective. I can't use side view. I have to use cider or just strange names like that. Okay? Because if you say side, it's going to say side _ 1. So you're just going to create a complexity of stuff that you're not going to understand what's coming from and why. So here's the front, fronter, viewer. Okay, and the last one is the back. Save. So back view is here. Right click, say add selection, hide visibility, template, object, reference. Side view, add to selection, front view, add to selection. Okay. Now, I really just want to work out the front and the back, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay. I want to bring up my hypershader and say clone or duplicate the shading network here, graph it, so I'm just focused on that. Go ahead and pick the other image I'm missing, which is the back view. Okay, and assign the back view, middle mouse drag to the back view. Okay, now looking at the side view, which should be the back view, and it's not, okay, I want to line this up. And I don't want to line the object up because everything's already there, so I want to line up the UVs. Okay, if I drag it out, I can see what's the top. There's the top. It needs to be right there. Perfect. Bottom. Okay, not too bad. Okay. Now, work out the sides. Look at the mirror. Okay. And I'm done. I don't have a top view. If you had a top view, you would just do that same thing. You would take this object, duplicate it, rotate it 90. And then put your top view on there and scale it out. Does that make sense, everybody? You want to have as many views as you can to support your ideas and what you're constructing. Okay, that is the point. Okay, if we don't have this, we're going to do ourselves no service. Okay, so I put everything in a reference, so I can't select it. Okay, and that's creating image planes so I can start constructing. Okay, you can move these in any formation if you want. You maybe want it here in the middle, whatever you want. Okay. Now the old school way of doing this would be you spending the next hour or 3 drawing out curves so that you can understand what the surface is doing. And I'm choosing not to go that route because I think we can do this without curves. But I have a problem because these photographs of this car isn't very clear in the blueprint diagrams. There's no line indicating any type of movements in here. You see that? So that's kind of why you really just can't rely on these images alone, because look at the graphics on here. There's nothing moving here. But if I look at my reference, look at the front. There's a line right there. Why didn't he indicate that? Look at this little subtle movement right here. There's something moving right here. But is there any indication of that? Okay, there's 2 lines. Okay, so there is an indication of it. But look at that. There's no line here. I'm just gonna have to guess. Right? Look at the information. There's nothing here. There's nothing there. There's not a line right there, but I see one right here. Okay? So do not rely on your blueprints alone, because they're not going to be the deciding factor, because you're going to tell me, well, I built what's on the blueprint, and I'm going to tell you, but you saw the reference like I saw the reference, and I know what a car looks like. So I'm seeing this, and you're telling me it told you that. Well, this is one thing, but I'm not going after this, because at the end of the day, I'm going after this. And that's this car. Okay? Okay. I'm going to stop the recording. Does everybody understand that? Was there any questions about image planes, references, or... I don't think so. It's pretty straightforward. Okay. Good.